The album cover was done with Hypnosis, who I worked with a little bit at the end of Genesis period. Storm and Peter particularly, and I think they are very important in the way that album sleeves have developed over the years. This was actually his car that I was sitting in on the front cover, and I liked the idea of the water and the sort of black and white and blue color.
So hello and yes, welcome back to another album review. Now then, only just done an album review yesterday, so we're already back, which is pretty exciting. And before I get onto this album review, just want to quickly say, for those of you who tuned into yesterday's album review, which was for the first Mudcrutch album, and the reason why I done that was because I wanted to kind of celebrate the release of Mudcrutch 2, but I didn't want to do Mudcrutch 2 yet because I didn't own the vinyl. The vinyl got delayed. Well, it turns out that the vinyl didn't come out Monday. Amazon got it in stock Monday, so they shipped it Monday. So I did get it today, Wednesday. So an album review of Mudcrutch 2 should be up next week. So that album review will be on the way for you guys now. Finally. But anyway, today, of course, what we're going to be talking about... we're going to be talking about Peter Gabriel's first album, which, of course, is self-titled Peter Gabriel. But like all of Peter Gabriel's first 4 albums, they all have their own nicknames, which is really cool because, you know, it's... I kind of like it when artists do self-titled albums. I find it really interesting and quite unique. But for all 4 of your first albums to be self-titled with nothing next to them, at least with Led Zeppelin, they done Led Zeppelin 2, Led Zeppelin 3, and then Led Zeppelin 4. Whereas with Peter Gabriel's ones, all 4 of his first albums were all just called Peter Gabriel, which I find pretty interesting. Very unique is the word I would definitely use for this. But, hey, I mean, all 4 of his first albums were great. So anyway, I thought, where should we start with Peter Gabriel? Let's start the first album, of course, which is nicknamed either Car, Drive, Rain. I've heard loads of nicknames for this album, but I think we're going to go ahead and call it Car because that's what Wikipedia has called it, or, well, has nicknamed it. So I think that seems like the popular choice. So we're going to go with Car. So then in this album review, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the usual, give you a bit of information on the album. We're going to go over each track individually and mark them out of 10. I'm going to show you my copy of the vinyl record. Then we're going to add up all the scores I gave it out of 10 and divide it by the total number of scores I've given, which will give us our overall mark for the album. And then we're going to head over, put it on the album ranking board and see where it lists. And that'll be it. So anyway, let's get started with this. So this was Pete Gabriel's first solo album. It was his debut album after he'd left Genesis after The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And it came out on the 25th of February 1977. So like I said in the intro, 77 just seemed to be like a fantastic, cracking year for music. So many good records put out that year. I mean, you've got Slow Hands, you've got The Stranger, Out the Blue, Rumours, you know, so many classic albums. And I know I'm missing a load there, but I have done a video just on 1977, so if you want to see that, go check it out. But, you know, this album, of course, falls into that category of being one of the greats from that year, I think. So, fantastic. It was produced by Bob Ezrick. Ezrick? Or is that an N? I think it says Rin. Ezrin. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. I can't even read the writing on here because it's so small. And then, of course, it was... It came in at number 7 in the UK, which I think is a good position for this. But I think if more people had known who Peter Gabriel was, I think this could have been a number 1 album. I mean, you think about it, Genesis, the early Genesis stuff, was nowhere near as popular as the later Phil Collins Genesis stuff. So not as many people knew Peter Gabriel. So I think, you know, if people had known his name more, I think this album could have got to number 1. But anyway, in the US, got to number 38. So not so great, really, in the US. But anyway, I think the UK chart positions made up for this. So anyway, let's get started with the first track. Okay, so the first track up is Morit Bound the Burgermeister, and it's quite a slow song. It's kind of like a sign-off song from Genesis in a way, which you can hear through the lyrics a bit. But, you know, it kind of starts off with a bit of a proggy sound at the start to kind of a wave goodbye to that kind of sound which he had with Genesis in a way, I think. And then it goes pretty much after about 20 seconds of that, it goes into a bit of a rocking guitar song, which sounds really cool. And it has some funny slow parts to it. I kind of like how the song kind of breaks itself up, and it'll go from being rocky, and it'll slow down to this really kind of funny, creepy kind of beat, and he does this line where he says, "I will find you." He does it in this really creepy kind of deep voice, which isn't the only time we hear this on the album, but I really like how he does it, because he goes from rocking quite well, you know, to this really fun song, just down to this kind of deep vocal performance on this slow part. But it really is fun how it goes through all these different stages, and the song will go back and forward between these different vibes which you get from it, and different tones, which I really like, and overall would say it's a really fun song. The lyrics are a little bit safe. I find the lyrics on a lot of this album are, you know, pretty safe, but as I say, it's kind of a bit of a sign-off song for Genesis, so I really do like it. But I really like this song. It's a fantastic opener, one of the better tracks on the album, I think, and I'm going to give this track a 9 out of 10. It really is a great track. But then we're going to move on to the track Solsbury Hill. Now then, if you haven't heard Solsbury Hill, number one, you obviously can't listen to the radio much, because that song does get played quite a bit on the radio. Second, you must live under a rock or something. And third, damn you need to go hear it. It is such a good song. Solsbury Hill is the classic Peter Gabriel song. I mean, when people think of Peter Gabriel, most people probably think Sledgehammer, I'm not going to lie. But I think this is the one which more people are going to remember him from, because it's more classic Gabriel sounding, whereas Sledgehammer had a lot of 80s influence. So a really fun song. The lyrics are really interesting. It's just him singing about climbing up on Solsbury Hill, all these things he could see as he was going up there. But then there are also all kind of references to how he felt about leaving Genesis. You know, like To Keep in Silence I Resigned. People would have thought I was a nut. You know, kind of linking to his costumes and stuff in Genesis. You know, people probably thought he was a bit... But the lyrics themselves, I mean, there's a lot of metaphors in this song. But really, I find them really interesting because, you know, I mean, it's kind of fun if you take out the Genesis part, you know, seeing all these things which you could see as he was climbing up Solsbury Hill, an eagle flying out into the night, I could see the city lights, you know, it's a really fun song. I love the lyrics. But the song itself is a fantastic acoustic, catchy song. The vocals are great. I love the different parts when, you know, I'm gonna take you home, and it goes boom, and it hits this really kind of fun chorus part, where you get some great guitar work. In the third verse, I think, in the third part of the song, you get the deep vocals coming behind Peter Gabriel's normal vocals, so they give them a bit of depth, and they sound really cool. But yeah, I love this song. It works on so many levels. You can hear it in the radio, in the car. I can see this still being played at parties today. It's a great movie trailer, a movie song. I think they've been playing it in the Finding Dory trailers, I'm pretty sure. So this song works on so many levels. You can hear it anywhere, I think, and enjoy it. There is no flaws on this song. It is a perfect song. So, of course, I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10. And then we move on to the track Modern Love, which is a big step down from the first two tracks, I think. It is basically what Gabriel thinks a modern love song or a 1977 love song would sound like. I mean, in the 60s and stuff, you heard so many love songs by all our favourites bands, you know, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, the Kinks, the Who. They'd all do these love songs, and a lot of the love songs would be kind of, you know, slow and stuff. Like, I don't know, you know, it's they'd all be kind of nice ballad kind of ones or nice acoustic ones. So Gabriel here thinking, okay, modern love song, let's rock it up, let's get this 70s kind of bit of a prog sound in there at times as well. So this sounds really cool. Starts off with this kind of countdown from the drummer, which I really like. I love it when songs do that. You know, you get the 1, 2, 3, you know, it comes in. Really like that. That sounds good. But I don't know, the song itself, I mean, it's good for the first minute or so. Then when you realise that the song isn't going to change much and it's not going to do too much, that's when you start to struggle. And I mean, the lyrics are very safe on this song, very simple. And yeah, I mean, the song itself is good, but I can't give it too high of a rank because it doesn't do much for me. So I'm going to give this track a 6 out of 10. Then we move on to the track Excuse Me with the Barbershop Cortez, which is so funny because, you know, I haven't really dived into that kind of style of music before, but I do like it. It sounds very unique, you know, hear all these voices singing together so well. And they really only do the start of the song. It starts off and you're like, okay, has Gabriel taken some time off and they're letting the Barbershop Quartet do this song? But, you know, it starts off really well with them. And then all of a sudden they kind of slow down. Then you hear Gabriel come in with these really funny, funky vocals where he sings the line, excuse me. And oh my God, it's really good. It's a really fun song. And, you know, the Barbershop Quartet don't do too much more in this song, but they stole the first, you know, 40 seconds of the song or so. And Gabriel just comes in with them. And he just, you know, the voice is so good. It's a really, really fun song. I like how the bass covers the back, and there's a really good horn in it, which has this amazing solo in it. So I really like this song. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Really do like that song. That's a great one. And then we get Humdrum. Humdrum, of course, closes side 1, which is a real slow song compared to what we've heard. With just Gabriel and his kind of organ at the start of it. The lyrics are good as he talks about all these different things he did in this Humdrum. It's like the Humdrum. I'm not too sure what it is. I don't know the lyrics off by heart here. I'm not going to pretend to be the biggest Gabriel expert, but Humdrum is kind of like this. I think it's kind of like this severe kind of thing that he's meant to be in, and all these things he's doing in there, you know, all these things that he's doing under this Humdrum, this kind of pressure thing. So it's just a really interesting concept, I think. You know, I'm not sure what the Humdrum itself is, what it's meant to be in this song. But he's saying all these things which he's seen and done while he was in or had this Humdrum. But it's really cool. It's a different. The lyrics are interesting, as I say. The song does pick up as it gets faster in parts, but I don't know. It's a good song. I like it. I like it more than Modern Love, sorry, because it does have a few bits where it picks up and slows down. The song likes to change a bit. There's a few little different things in parts. But overall, you know, it's a good song. But I think there could have been a few more things added over to the top of this one to make it a bit more interesting. But I do like it, so I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. So before we move on, I'm going to have a drink because I'm absolutely gasping now. You know what my voice is like, you guys. It can just go after a couple minutes. Okay. It's a bit better. A bit. You'll have to excuse me if my voice starts to go. It's not doing its best today. Okay, so then we move on to side 2, where we get a track called Slow Burn. And it starts off quite slow and very quickly picks up, really. It's interesting because it has some great guitar moments in it. I really think it is. And the lyrics are really interesting again, and I really like how the vocals are on this track, because I really think it is one of his better vocal performances on this track. Just one of them nice slow singing songs, I think. But yeah, it's got a great guitar solo in it and just a pretty fun song. So I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10 too. And then we get a track called Waiting for the Big One, which is quite a long track. And I like long songs. You guys know me. You know, whenever I talk about a long song, I have to mention, like, you know, I'm a big Clapton fan, so I like all these kind of Derek and Domino's long kind of jamming, great guitar, instrumental moments. But this song here, you know, it's quite a long song with a slow piano, jazzy feeling at the start, and you think, this is great. I like this. This is a good sound. And as it's such a long song, it's surely going to build tension and change. It really doesn't do much. I mean, it does build up and it does add things over the top, but it doesn't have these fantastic moments in it, like what you'd expect from long songs like this. You know, with some great guitar moments, maybe a little piano solo or something. You know, just something to kind of liven the song up a bit more. But it really doesn't do anything in that regards. But, you know, the vocals are good. I like the lyrics. Has some great guitar moments on it, that's for sure. But, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one. So I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Okay, so then we get Down the Dolce Vita, which I really like how this song opens. It sounds like something from the old kind of 70s film kind of thing, you know, something that you'd hear maybe at the start of a sci-fi thing like Star Wars or Aliens, you know, kind of a really interesting tension building moment. It's like, I can just see it now, this huge Star Destroyer from Star Wars just like, kind of hanging over this planet, like getting ready to open fire on some rebel ships or something. It's like, I can see the start of this song being played over a scene like that. Or, you know, in Aliens, as I say. Or, you know, it could be used in something like, I don't know, like Indiana Jones or something. It kind of reminds me of that kind of 70s, 80s movie feel. Really, really awesome. I really like how it does that. But then, of course, the guitars kick in and it becomes a really fun song. The lyrics are simple and safe in this one again, I think. But I love how the song kind of breaks up. It kind of has these moments where it will go into this kind of really fun instrumental bit. And what can I say? I really do love this song. This is a great one. So I'm going to give this track an 8 out of 10. Really good. And then already we're on the last track. Here Comes the Flood, which is a slower song. And I really like the vocals for this one. I really think this is probably his best vocal performance. But really nice piano work on it. I like how the song builds up. But the only problem is it kind of drops straight back down after it's built up, and it really seemed like the build-up was kind of pointless, but sorry, that's just how I feel about that. It just kind of like builds up this song, and you feel like it's going to do something really cool, and it just kind of goes, yep. But, you know, it's not a bad thing. The song has some good moments in it still, has some great guitar work in it again, but, yeah, this track for me is just going to get a 7 out of 10, so, yeah, not the best track on the album, I don't think. So that one, I believe, is actually on his greatest hits compilation, which, you know, there's a couple other tracks on his album which I think deserve to be on that more than that song, to be honest. But anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the album and the vinyl, and I'm going to mark the artwork on here out of 10 as well. But what I'm going to do is I've got an original first pressing in shrink here, but I'm going to leave it here, I won't take it down. So I'm going to, I've got this is the half-speed remaster, but I haven't taken it out of shrink, so I can't show you guys the gatefold anyway. But we're going to mark it as the original, so we're going to forget there's a gatefold anyway. But anyway, so here's the cover. Really interesting cover, I do like it. You can just see Peter Gabriel there in the window of the car, and then you can see him again on the back here. And the lyrics are down there. Lyrics, the track listing even. This album does come with a download code, and I really need to get on it and download it. And of course, on the Mad Hatter label here, from the Charisma label there, which of course Genesis was on, and Peter Gabriel would remain to be on for a few albums. So yeah, really cool. And I've got to, you know, album artwork, just get the scoring out of that out the way with. I'm going to give the album artwork a 6 out of 10. You really can't tell it's Peter Gabriel on the cover. You know, it's very plain. I mean, you got Peter Gabriel up there, but, you know, not a very good picture of him. I do like the picture on the cover, though. It's pretty nice. But it'd be nice to have maybe something on the back to symbolise Peter Gabriel a bit more, but kept it simple. The track listing's so small you can barely read it. So yeah, I mean, it's good. I like the artwork on here. The spine's interesting. There's nothing on it, just raindrops. So I do like it a lot. It's a good album. I like the artwork, of course, a lot. But yeah, I am gonna just I'm just gonna stick with a 6. But also, these half-speed mastered ones are numbered, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but I got 259. Pretty good number there. But yeah, really pleased to have this. So anyway, now what I've done is I've actually added up all of the scores for each track, so 9 tracks, and then added on the artwork score, so that's 10 scores. I've added them all up, divided them by 10, and Pete Gabriel 1 car is going to get, drumroll please, hang on, it's going to get a 7.4. So 7.4 for Pete Gabriel's first album. So now what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the album ranking board and we're going to put it on there and see where it ranks. So yeah, here we are back over to the album ranking board, of course. And here we are with Peter Gabriel 1. I put in brackets there, car, so we can actually identify it. With a 7.4 there. So then, 7, it's going to go just about, I'm going to put it just there. So there we are, Peter Gabriel car coming in just above Lindsay Buckingham's Go Insane, but under Mudcrutch there with an 8.5, which I only reviewed yesterday. So we got Mudcrutch, Eric Clapton's Back Home, and Derek and the Dominoes beating it out, but it has managed to beat Lindsay Buckingham, Go Insane, Paul McCartney, George Harrison 33 and a third, Phil Collins faced Value, The Who faced Dances, and John Lennon and Yoko Ono sometime in New York City. So not too bad, really. So anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Really enjoyed making this video, as this is an album I really do love, and if you haven't heard it, you must go pick it up because it's a fantastic album. But yeah, review of Mudcrutch 2 should be up next week now, as I've got the vinyl and I'm going to play it a few more times, get to know it a bit more. Also, a review of Eric Clapton's new album, I Still Do, will be on the way soon, because I've already played that one like 8 times, as you guys can probably imagine, because you know how much of an Eric nut I am. But I am just waiting for the vinyl on that one, which comes out Friday. So 2 days. I'll probably do Eric next week as well. And I'm also going to do a complete Eric Clapton vinyl collection, and I am complete on Eric, so be sure to check that out. Also, there will be a vinyl collection coming on Mr. Peter Gabriel soon. I'm just waiting for New Blood to come in on vinyl. I've got 2 more of the Half-Speed Masters to get. And then, of course, they are actually putting out Up, So, and Us. There it is. On the Half-Speed Masters as well soon. So I'll probably be pre-ordering them as well. And I'll do it once I've got them. But a Peter Gabriel complete vinyl collection will be on the way soon. But anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave a message. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.